In this lesson, we're going to be working more with some integers, comparing and ordering integers. When it's just integers, you guys, we're not probably going to have to use a number line in our homework. I'll probably just have you guys order them from least to greatest. So for example, like this one says 2 and negative 6. What you'll do in your homework for example 1 is you'll just write the lower number first. So we're going to say negative 6 comma 2. Now on tomorrow's, when we're working with the real numbers with decimals and fractions, I will have you guys use a number line just so you guys can see where those numbers fall between, because they're decimals, and we'll talk about that more when we get to it. But as far as example 1 goes, we really don't need to go through all the work of making a number line to see that negative 6 is less than positive 2. Vertical and horizontal number lines are exactly the same. So again, you may see some vertical number lines, you may see some horizontal ones. I kind of like this one to see that you can stack them up, and negative 3 is higher up than negative 5. So again, we can say negative 5 is below negative 3, so negative 5 is less than negative 3 on this one. When we go to compare, we are just going to put a less than or a greater than sign. So again, pause the video and answer these questions, and then once you're done, you guys can go ahead and unpause. For number 1, we should get 0 is greater than negative 4. For number 2, we should get negative 5 is less than positive 5. And number 3, we should get negative 8 is less than negative 7. Again, make sure you look really close at this one. Sometimes students think about the number being bigger. They think that it always has to be bigger. If it's negative, that means it's farther away from 0 in the opposite direction. Ordering numbers from least to greatest. Again, today we won't necessarily need a number line. Tomorrow we will use one. But when you're given these numbers here, we have negative 4, 3, 0, negative 1, and negative 2. Again, if you need a number line to help you, that's fine. You can use it, but you don't necessarily have to see the order of these numbers. So the first number for our answer is going to be negative 4, and then negative 2, and then negative 1, and then 0, and then 3. Next one, we have a multiple choice problem. It says a number is greater than negative 8 and less than 0. What is the greatest possible integer value of this number? Again, remember that integers are numbers that are counting numbers, so it has to be something that we can say when we count 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. It's not going to be a fraction or decimal answer here because it says integer value. We have a number line here to kind of help us answer this question. We have negative 10 to positive 2. Negative 8 is on the graph, and 0 is on the graph, and it wants to know what is the greatest integer that falls in between those. Well, if we look at these, again, the greatest is going to be the farthest right. The one that's the farthest right before we get to 0 is negative 1, so we should get C for the answer on this one. We have a real-life application problem here. It says the diagram shows the coldest recorded temperatures for several cities in Virginia. Which city has the coldest recorded temperature? Well, if we look at these, we can see that we have this one at negative 11, this one at negative 10, negative 12, negative 3, and 0. So the lowest temperature anywhere would be in Richmond, Virginia, it looks like, at negative 12. And then it says, for example, for the part B, it says, has a negative Fahrenheit temperature ever been recorded in Wallops Island? So if we look at Wallops Island, for that particular set of months for the temperatures, it says 0. So 0 is not negative, so the answer would be no. There has been no recorded temperatures that were negative in Wallops Island. So the last one here, again, order the integers from least to greatest, 4 and 5. Number 6, and it says in example 4, what is the least possible integer value? Again, in example 4, we had that number line, so I'll help you out with number 6 here. We had that number line from negative 8 to 0, and we had the highest value at negative 1, so the least value would have to be down here at the other end. You guys can answer that here after I get done with this. And then number 7, it says in example 5, Norfolk recorded a new record low last night. The new record low is greater than the record low in Lynchburg. What are the possible integers that can be represented by that new temperature? And we'll write those out here too. So for example 7, Lynchburg's was -10 and Norfolk's was -3. So the new record low has to fall between these two somewhere. And it says what integers can represent the new record low. So anything in here. So for number 7, you can put any answer in here, and we'll talk about that here in a second as well. So go ahead and pause and try these 4 on your own. Number 4, we order them from least to greatest. We get -3, -2, -1, 1, and 3. Number 5, we have -8, -7, 1, 4, and 6. Example number 4, it says, what is the least possible integer value? Well, if the greatest was -1, and that's where we stopped, was at 0, where we stop on the bottom end is -8, so the least possible value would be -7. So -7 would be your answer for number 6. Number 7, we have a whole window of values that will work. So anything that you put between -10 and -3 would be a good answer. You could put -9 through -4. Anything in there will work. -9, -8, -7, so on. Any of those temperature values will work for this example. Go ahead and check your schedule for the homework assignment and make sure you guys have good notes for this. It shouldn't be a whole lot other than still understanding positive and negative integers.